Wish I mean that God can provide for me. That's why I stand on the book.
Hey there, friends, and welcome to Becoming a Boss, where we take some time each week to talk about how to make the world a better place to work. I'm your host, Megan, and today I'm back with my wonderful husband, Justin, to talk about getting promoted, part 2.
Part 2.
You gonna say hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
So last week we started this conversation about how to get promoted, and today we're gonna wrap it up with the last bunch of practical handles for you to latch onto.
Okay. More handles.
So if you want to get promoted, you're in the right place because we're going to give you all the goods. On the other hand, if you don't want to get promoted,
It's okay.
I can understand. Well, because that was me.
That was you. You did not want to get promoted.
You mentioned that last week.
I did. We left them on a cliffhanger. I don't think we ever told them.
No, but we're going to tell them today.
Good.
Because I want to let them know it's okay. If you don't want to be promoted, it's okay.
Okay.
And here's the reason why. Have you heard of the Peter Principle?
No.
Okay, you actually have.
Okay.
I didn't know it was called that, though. And how I know it for sure is because we just read both The Working Genius.
We did.
And in the beginning of that book, he mentions this scenario. And the scenario is when you get promoted into a job that you're not competent in. Like, you can't do it.
Oh, yeah. I do know this.
Well, I didn't know there was a name for it, though.
Poor Peter.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a book, allegedly. See, Dr. Lawrence Peter,
Yeah.
It's not poor Peter. It's actually, great job, Peter. You
Oh.
came up with this thing.
Okay, good.
So he's a sociologist, right?
Yeah.
So he's our people. And he wrote a book, blah, blah, blah. I didn't read the book. I knew of this concept and realized that it had a name.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Cool.
Anyway, so the Peter Principle is where you basically keep getting promoted until you can no longer do the job.
Okay.
Now, for my scenario, it's not that I couldn't do the job. I didn't want to do the job.
Okay.
Because you had said last week, you had mentioned, oh, yeah, they offered you a bunch of promotions and you're trying to. So I counted them out. There are 3. 3 times that they actually offered me a promotion and I didn't take it.
I didn't realize it was 3.
I counted them.
Okay.
It was pretty official.
I believe you.
And the second time is when I was planning to move out of state. Remember, we were planning to move here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to take a promotion because I'm going to leave.
True.
So that was number 2.
Mm-hmm. But the third time was not the charm.
The third time and the first time was the same, the charm.
Yeah, third time's the charm. You take the job. You never took the job.
You're so clever.
Thanks.
Okay, so the second time was because I was planning to move out of state. But the first and third time, both times, I didn't want to take the job.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because both scenarios, 80% client facing.
Mm-hmm.
And I love being a dependable source for the client, to be fast, to be honest, to be reliable. But I don't want to do that all the time. I prefer the majority of the role. And I've learned this recently in my path to self-discovery. I really like teaching. And all my jobs I have a team, so I get to teach them.
Yeah.
All the time I get to teach them.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love to do. I really, really love to teach about leadership because you can see the direct impact in their life, hopefully pushing them from one tax bracket to another. That's
Right.
my favorite. But just teaching in general, helping people be effective, do their job well, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so both positions, 80%, they were going to be client,
Yeah.
And let me tell you what, the client doesn't need you to teach them anything. Not a thing. They just need you to do what they told you to do.
Right.
Okay. All right, so this happened to you too. You had a similar scenario where opportunities have been presented to you, but you knew you probably weren't going to love the type of work.
Is that true?
Well, I remember there were a couple of opportunities where, hey, we could really use you crunching these numbers and running these Salesforce reports because you're kind of the go-to for, I need this report run.
Yeah, that's true. A little bit of a plug and play.
But you don't want to run reports all day.
Yeah, that's true. I do know that when I was back at the financial industry, that I was getting a lot of opportunities to do things that I did not love. But I did them anyway, without promotion. But it did eventually get me promoted. But at the time, I had a decision. Do I want to get promoted or do I want to move to the place that I felt our family was called to next?
Right. So that was the same. That was your number 2.
Yeah, because I shouldn't have taken the job. At least that's what I thought back then.
Honey.
It had made it's another story for another day.
Aw.
But I committed that job for a year. And
It's a sad story.
It is a sad story. We'll tell it some other time. But we committed to the job for the year. And after that year, we ended up moving here anyway and then falling in love with what we get to do now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what do you want to talk about?
Well, we were just going to go over the rest of the practical handles.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest, we went through so many.
We can only give them 2 handles, though. They only have 2 hands.
Dad jokes. All right, so here's what we went over last time. I had to get them in order because we were, I was making you guess. So
That's
out
true.
of order. So anyway, eliminate the boss's problems. Also, bonus points if you can eliminate the boss's problems
Yep.
by utilizing something that gives you joy.
Yes.
Second one was to answer the boss's emails right away.
Yep.
The third
When they're
one,
tapping their foot by you, I remember you telling the story in the last podcast. Because they sent an email and they just came immediately over to your desk and sat and waited for you to
10
respond.
minutes. No, he didn't sit. 10 minutes.
Tapping his foot.
He wouldn't actually tap his foot, but he would come out and stand. I'm here, and he's right there. Hey, what's going on? And he would lean over and he was like 7 feet tall. So he's a really tall dude, and just okay.
My wife.
All right, so answer your boss's emails right away. Number 6, be in the top 10% of character. We went over a whole bunch of those, and we decided to add keep commitments to that because
The trust behaviors. Yeah.
So we went over a whole bunch of those. And next, be excited about changes. This is a really big one because most people are not excited about changes.
Right.
So
They
if
hate
you-
change.
So if you're trying to stand out, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And here's what I don't get. Change is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's for sure going to happen.
Right.
So
Our body is literally changing every second of every day. The cells are dying. New cells are being created. We're putting on new skin every day.
that's kind of gross.
It is, but also we're stepping outside of our skin, trying to get new. All right, too far into this analogy.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let's pretend the change is that you have a new system in which you need to run your schedule now, and it's mandated by the company. What good is it going to do you to buck against that system? Are you going to get the CEO and the COO to change their policy for hundreds of people because you don't feel like changing?
I think sometimes people feel like if they say something, they can change everything, but it doesn't.
Oh,
They
I don't
try it a
think
couple
that
of
at all.
times and they realize nothing changes, and then they don't say anything. I think it's learned helplessness, like the dog. You try to do something, you try to get out, you try to make a difference, and then they don't see impact, and then they just stop trying.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably 90% of the people.
Yes, but I feel like people start very hopeful and then realize, like, I'm going to go into this organization, I'm going to make it a better place, and it's going to be awesome.
Wow, that's okay.
Hopeful, helpful people.
I just don't feel like that's true.
Okay.
But we can get a panel and interview them.
That could be the poll.
We can poll them.
Yeah, that could
We
be the
can-
poll in this podcast.
Because I'm not on board with that.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, so next, prioritize your boss's goals or requests. And the next one, ask how you can help. Use your skills, use your joy to just ask how you can help your boss, ask how you can help your colleague, just be helpful.
Yep.
And the last one was listen closely to your boss. So listen for what their needs are, wants, interests, needs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. That's what we went over last week. So this week, oh wait, you can't, not this, you can
Okay.
see.
I'm not looking.
So you can't look. He's cheating.
I'm not cheating.
All right. No, it's fine. You can look. That's my list.
I can't. I'm not going to look.
Okay. Go ahead then.
You want me to guess?
Yeah.
No, you just got to tell me the list.
Oh, okay. So ask questions.
Okay. Good leaders ask great questions. Quoted by John Maxwell.
Wow, you are just book title after book title.
That's how I remember things.
All right, so ask questions about the business, find out what challenges other people are facing, show curiosity about how you can serve others, find out what your boss is dealing with, what their boss is dealing with. And that bridges over to be helpful because you're trying to be helpful.
Well, I recently learned from the Harvard Business Review that one of the best things that you can do as a leader is to care for your team. And to do that, you actually have to ask them not, are you getting your work done? Well, yes, you have to do that too, but how are you doing? How are you feeling? How's your day? How's your weekend? The things that they actually care about. Maybe they don't care about their weekend. Maybe they actually just, not just how are you doing, but like, how do you want to grow? What do you want to achieve in life? And then you can actually help them get there. So asking a lot of good questions that are not just stupid, but
No question. That's not true. They're stupid questions.
we can ask kind questions that will actually be helpful
Yeah.
and specific to the individual.
Just find stuff out.
Okay.
You can tell what people care about by what they talk about.
Yeah.
That's a freebie, y'all. I did not include that in the thing. Okay. Next. Learn things.
Learn things. We love this one. We were just trying to guess a leadership test the other day, and they were like, what is one of the pillars of this? And we both said learn. Mm-hmm. But it was not one of the pillars. But we still feel like it is an important, silent, subliminal pillar.
Yeah, I disagree. I think it should be learn.
It should be
because
leaders are learners.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the world is constantly changing. Your team is changing.
Yeah.
You might have new people, but even if you have the same people are changing and evolving and growing, and hopefully they're learning.
Yeah.
You have to learn. And if you just say learn things, you could encompass you could solve so many problems.
Yeah.
And just continue to learn.
And you don't have to learn specific things. We talked about the working genius a lot. You can learn things that are actually making you better at the stuff that you love to do.
Yeah. I don't think that you should suffer through learning.
Yeah.
Find your joy. Find what you want to learn.
I hated learning in elementary school because it was all the stuff that I didn't want to learn.
Elementary? That's like ABC 1, 2, 3.
No, it's like history. I guess middle school and high school too. But history, science, I didn't like any of that stuff. Geography, I was not a fan. I became a fan when it was psychology because I love thinking about thinking. And then everything changed.
Well, I loved school.
Good.
I loved school. I just love to learn things.
Yeah.
I had a teacher, though. I would say his name, but it's probably not nice. I had a really terrible teacher.
Okay. Yeah, don't say his name.
I quit school. I mean, I went back, but
Yeah.
I initially quit school because I was like,
This joker.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you and all your tricks.
Right.
So there are some different ways you could learn things. Read a book, yes, but sometimes I like a physical book. Sometimes you could listen to an audible book if you're driving or folding the clothes or mindlessly checking emails. You could read / listen to a book, or you could listen to a podcast.
You can mindlessly listen to a podcast.
There's so many different podcasts too. I've learned because, I'm in there now. And you could try something new. Branch out. Cultivate your interests.
Yeah.
Natalie was telling me that
That's my sister.
she is doing so many cool things. And none of them are the same. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
She's working with the deaf community. She is working with young underprivileged children.
Yep.
I mean, all these different things I'm like, you're doing it right. If you try things, then and you can kind of figure out what you want to do and you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So there's that. You don't have to wait till you're grown up and then figure it out.
Right. We're adults.
Yes, we are. All right. Solve problems. So that's number next.
Number next.
Solve problems.
This is also number 6 of...
Wait a second. It's already on here. Skip.
Yeah.
All right. Embrace change. Already did that one.
We did.
Okay. 2 more.
Okay.
Are you excited? So this is number, I don't know what. Ask for feedback.
Ask for feedback.
Yeah. That's not the easiest thing to do. What do you think about that?
I've heard, what is it like to be on the other side of me?
Ew.
Yeah.
I'm just dreading hearing the answer. It's hard. It's hard to ask for feedback. It's also hard to give it.
Yeah, but I'd rather, my mind is more dangerous wondering and assuming how that person feels instead of just asking them straight up and popping the balloon. And just, all right, popping the balloon is scary. Let's just say ripping the Band-Aid off. Just understand what it is, what they think needs to be different. And I can say, is this true? Is this not true? If it is true, then I can actually work to make it better. Otherwise, I can just move on.
Yeah, just help me understand how I can get better.
Yeah.
You can kind of read people's expressions a little bit and tell if it's looking crunchy.
I don't like this one.
Well, I'm not saying you should just read an expression and make an assumption. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Because I actually read, so this lady, I think she's a psychologist, she was saying something like 80% of the time when you have a grouchy face on, it's not because you're grouchy.
Yeah, because you're hungry.
Well, she listed a whole bunch of other reasons because I remember my team used to come over to my desk and they would be like, are you okay? And I would be just fine, but I would be focused. And that was actually one of the things she listed. If you have this grouchy look on your face, it could be just because you're really focused.
Okay.
I was like, I'm not alone.
Yes.
All right, last thing is perception is reality. Okay, this is whack.
Okay, why?
Well, because perception is not reality, but that's the world that we live in. So, for example,
Other people's perception of perception.
So if your boss sees you type in VLOOKUP in Excel and
It's a formula.
maybe they just assume that you are great at Excel.
But
But let's say VLOOKUP is the only thing that you know.
yeah, maybe that's the only thing you Googled. That's how I operate. I only know the things because I've Googled it and had to do it.
That's most of us. YouTube.
Yeah, I'd rather do it that way.
Anyway, yeah. So on the other hand, this is where it can get nasty. let's say somebody gives negative feedback to your boss about you, then your boss has this perception that that is actually true, even if it may or may not be true.
Right.
And so that's when they can be dangerous. And obviously you could work to correct and learn and get better and try to fix the situation. But regardless if you fix the situation, regardless if it was completely untrue to begin with, your boss has this in his or her head that remains.
Right.
Well, remember that one time when I got feedback about da-da-da-da? And so you have to work really, really hard to overcome that.
Yes. The other example I could think of is, well, I didn't intend to do that. That wasn't my intention. It's like, well, I understand that. However, that's not how it came across. And so that perception in the scenario, it's like, well, that wasn't my heart. It's like, okay, but people didn't see your heart. They saw that you yelled at everybody and called them cuss words. It's like, okay, well, perception of everybody in the room was that this guy is or girl is not thinking clearly or whatever. So we need to try better to get our heart across or to ask for feedback of how we could be better so that the perception can be changed.
Yeah. Don't cuss. That would be one.
Yes. Well.
Also, help me understand.
Yeah. Help me understand.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Be inquisitive.
How would you ask questions? There it is.
It's in there.
Full circle.
Okay. I want to end on a quote that I really liked. Do you know who Rumi is?
No.
Rummy?
No. Jim Rummy.
I don't know. Here's the quote.
Okay.
Be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder.
Okay.
Don't you love it? Be a lamp for someone,
Oh,
or be
nice.
a lifeboat for someone, or be a ladder for someone.
Yeah, I was taking it literally. I'm like, I don't get it. Long day.
Isn't it lovely?
It is great. Yeah.
Light up the way, save someone's life, or
Yeah.
help someone elevate.
It's good.
Oh, my word. I loved it. All right. Well, listen, y'all. I hope that helped you. I'm so excited about what you're about to do with this. That is it for today, though.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. And if you're seeing something at work that maybe you aren't ready to speak up about, maybe let me be brave for you. Share your story by calling or texting me at 864-619-1683, and let's pick it apart together. Ooh, one more thing. I have gotten a few stories and comments, etc., from you in the past few weeks, and I got to tell you, I'm really loving digging into them all. Next week, we're going to talk about some of the things that you sent me, and also we're going to give you a few updates on the stories that we've shared over the past couple months. It's going to be fun. You can also type in the YouTube comments and tell us what you really liked or if you have an idea for the show. And listen, friend, we know it's not easy, but remember that whatever it is you're walking through, you are not alone, and together we can make the world a better place to work. Thanks for listening, team. Take care and see you next week.
Let's go. Aim in the bush. I got a ram in the bush. I know that God gon' provide for me. That's why I stand on the book.